that too. Now that you've talked about or imagined how they would talk to each other in the years following the surrender, how do you think this is going to help you with writing an essay later on about them? What do you think? Yes, Greta.
I think it'll help because we will know more about them and have been able to write from their perspectives and kind of get a good thought about how we should write the essay, and it'll kind of help build our knowledge on the book and the personalities of each character.
Ooh, that is a very good description. I liked how you gave a lot of details with that. Yeah, and you're gonna really know those beliefs and values, right? Because you could feel their emotion a little bit more. And I saw that actually in your letters. You guys put a lot of emotion, and like Greta had said, a lot of those details and just the explaining of what happened. So thank you. That was a very good detailed expression or description. So here is, again, our main ideas. And actually, let me see. We've got, again, cultural beliefs. Our main idea is how do cultural beliefs and values guide people? And I want everybody to say this together with me. So unmute, everybody. I want you to, in a second, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and then I want everybody, let's say the focusing question together. So I want everybody to unmute. We're going to all say it together. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. What
Important beliefs and values guide Chief Joseph, his daughter, Sound of Running 3.
Awesome. Thanks for choral reading with that, you guys. So you notice, that's been our big question for almost the whole book. And that's what we're going to end up writing our essay eventually about. So we've been looking at these beliefs and values that each of them have. They share very similar ones, but as we found out, those values, they changed, and they got them sometimes at different times. And they're a little different, some of them. So, I want you, really quickly, to pull up your thesis statement. So yesterday I graded those as well. So your thesis statement, I'll put the link in Scooty or in the Webex. It was right here. Your thesis statement. So let me copy this. I have a link. So you have it in Notability. You can pull it up, or you can click this link to see. I want everybody to just take a moment. This one is fully, so I'm going to read them iris. So I'm going to just read my thesis statement to myself really quick. So everybody, I want you're supposed to say what things they're doing that were the same. Let me show you what you were supposed to do. So your thesis statement, my spelling was terrible to say. You were supposed to give me a sentence about one belief or value they share and one belief or value that they differ. So I want you just to take a moment and I want you to reread your thesis statement. So I'm going to reread. Sound of Running Feet and Chief Joseph share the belief of protecting their tribe, but they differ on how to protect them. Okay, so everybody, I want you just to read your thesis statement really quick. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to start it. We won't finish this, so we'll move it, the due date, for Monday. But we are going to start planning our essay. Please turn in your workbook or under Upcoming 27A Essay Planner for Focusing Question Task 5. Okay, so it's handout 27A. I'm going to put mine in Notability. 7, 8. It's beautiful. Ooh. And let's see if we can get the introduction down. Now, we just read our thesis. Hopefully, we did this on Wednesday, so the thesis actually should be pretty easy. Let's write here what our thesis was. So I'm gonna pretend I'm Iris. So I'm gonna write Iris's. So it says, state my essential idea. So if I look at me as Iris, what I wrote, they share the belief of protecting their tribe. So, but they do it different ways. So yours
wrote a long thesis.
Okay, that's fine.
But I don't know if I'm gonna have enough room.
You know what? If you don't have enough room, you can do a Post-it note, or you can, if you're doing it digitally, you can add another page afterwards, okay? Or you can write it. I think you can write it. Can you write it really small? Or you can summarize it too. Because this is going to be our outline. And the more that you fill this in, the easier it is going to do your essay. Because literally you can we're pretty much going to start writing our whole essay today, is what we're doing.
So when we write our thesis, we're going to, what do we do in like the top?
We're going to do the hook and introduction in a second. Let's everybody, since we just read it, let's fill in our thesis. So state your idea, previewing. So my main idea is sound of running feet, and Chief, actually this is all, everybody, this is pretty much your topic statement, the beginning. Sound of running feet and Chief Joseph have similar and different beliefs and values. Okay, so my point 1 I'm going to put here. So this is what you had said your point 1 is. Mine was they want to protect their tribe. And it doesn't matter what order. So if you want to do the difference first, you can. Or if you want to do the similarity first, you can. Okay. And I put the difference or the other then point 2. So you're going to have point 1 here. So how are they similar or different? And then the other one's going to be the other one. They protect differently. Okay. So yeah, so pretty much they have similar beliefs and values and different beliefs and values. That's what our topic is, right? And then you can put your points there with what you wrote in your thesis. Now, like I said, I think we're going to just do the introduction today. We're going to look at the other ones. There's a lot. And for me, it makes sense to do things bit by bit. I want you to think, actually, you know what? Let's do some background information. Because I think we all know a lot about the Nimi Poo. What is something that I could put about the Nimi Poo that maybe my reader needs to know in order to read my essay?
I'm still writing my thesis.
Okay, I'll slow down. I will let me know. Yeah, so just know this is not due today. I will move it so that it doesn't show up in your overdue stuff.
Is it okay if I copied your point 1 and point 2 because it was technically what I said, but in a different way?
Okay, I would maybe change the wording a little bit. Does that make sense? But yeah, I mean, a lot of yours are very similar to what I just did Iris's. I did it in my own words too. Okay, so I'm going to move this. We'll probably finish it on Tuesday. So, let's use the chat because there's going to be a whole bunch that you could potentially put here. And you can use some of the information that we have. If you are reading my essay, what is some background information you might need to know? What do you think? You can put it in the chat. And I'm going to I'm going to create my own ideas and put it here, but I might use some of the things that are in the chat. So for example, I would say, I think they might need to know what's happening in the story. So I'm going to put in the chat.
I have a question.
Yes.
What year was it that like they were fighting or whatever?
Let's see. Does it tell us? 1887. It tells me on my map.
So I finished. Now do I do the introduction?
Or do
I wait?
Let's do the background information. Yep. So we're looking at introduce. So what is some background information that you might need to read this essay? So I'm going to put in the chat and just put it in the chat because then we can pick some things. We'll just do a big thing together. So I put Sound of Running Feet and Chief Joseph are both part of the Nimipu tribe and are moved from their homeland. What else do you think the reader might need to know? Do you want to put it in the chat? That way we can see it a little bit better. Mimi, let's write their name right. Anybody else? What's something that do you think is important? What did they encounter? Did everybody survive? What are some things? Some key details of the book that you might think might be important. So, I mean, they want to protect their family. Well, why do they want to protect their family? They want to, let's see, what are some of the other beliefs and values we looked at? Why? Let's see some other. Why does he care about his tribe? Well, maybe you should mention the tribe. Why is he worried for his family? Why does he want to be done with war? So should we talk about something with the war, that there's actually a war going on? Maybe some cultural things. So they live in tribes. It says that they're connected to the land. Well, they'd be connected to the land because they're Nimipu? Because they're Native Americans? Or why is their land important to them? Okay, so a lot of your details, they should connect a little bit to your points. So you might want to say that they're part of the tribe, but why, like mine, I'm talking about why they want to protect it. Well, why are they wanting to protect it? Well, because they're in a war, right? But maybe if you said they value the land and stuff, maybe you want to talk about where they're from, okay? So some people are adding some things, some help out. So look in the chat. Okay, so
they want to protect their people and their family because to Chief Joseph and Sound of Running Feet, they're not just like slaves or people that don't do anything. They're people and they have a life.
Yeah.
And they like to care for them unlike the white people do.
Yeah. So if your points include that protection, I would include that. So for example, if you were saying your points are they value the land, well, maybe tell me where some information is. So what land are they protecting? Okay. Or why do they value? Well, because Chief Joseph got his name from the Spirit Mountain. Maybe you can talk about the importance of family and the tribe. So like you just had mentioned is They're both part of the Nimi-Poo tribe and they're moved from their homeland. And since, mine's protecting their tribe, I might want to say tribe is family. Yeah. What's your question?
We copy your introduction or do our own?
I would do your own. I mean, you can use some of mine, but remember, it should be based off of your points. Okay, so if I'm talking about protecting their tribe, or if I put in here like about the land and stuff, well, I'm talking about protecting the tribe. That doesn't, in this introduction, what background do they need to understand your thesis? Does that make sense? So if you're talking about family, well, maybe you should talk about the importance of family up here. They're talking about protecting. Well, maybe you should say that there's a war going on. Why do they have to protect it? If they're talking about, if your points are about land, okay, maybe you need to tell me where they're from, okay? Okay, so this information should help you, or should be connected to your points. Should be connected to your 2 points. So pretty much, why does the reader need to know? What does the reader need to know for your essay to make sense? What do I need to know? Like if I've never really read the story.
It did say, though, that your audience is someone who has read the story.
You're right. Yep. I was like, but we want to give that background information still. So again, if you're talking about like protecting your family or that they are approaching war differently, maybe you want to say in your background, well, they are, like somebody asked about the year, in 1877, the Nimi-Poo went to war against the Bluecoats. Okay, so maybe that's some background information. It could be.
Yeah, mine's pretty similar. Mine is in 1887, white settlers were forcing CJ, Sound of Running, Chief Joseph, Sound of Running Feet, and their whole Nimi-Poo tribe / family off of their homeland.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going
to show you mine.
I will end up looking at it in a little bit. Do you want to just read it out loud really quick?
Sure. Sound of Running Feet and Chief Joseph both love and care for their land and people, but they do it in their own ways. They protect it in their ways and what they believe is the best way. They both protect it with all they have.
Yeah, and Riley, a lot of your thesis, you included background information. So look back at what you had written because you just needed to put it in different places. Somebody else raised their hand. Did you want to share, Harper, what you ended up kind of putting for background?
Yeah, I wrote Sound of Running Feet and Chief Joseph are both part of the Nimi-Poo tribe. They both value the land their parents were buried. They have many spiritual beliefs about it, so they want to keep it.
Beautiful. I'm going to tell you all one really, really important piece of information. So everybody, I want you to look at my Webex really quick. Now, if you've noticed, we have been doing Sound of Running Feet as SORF or Chief Joseph, okay? Remember to have capital letters where you're supposed to, but here is a really important rule when writing essays or writing stuff. The first time that you say someone's name, should you do an acronym like this, SORF, or do you think you should actually write it out? You should probably write it out. Yeah, because remember the first time you saw SORF, you were like, what is that? You need to write it out the first time. So this is the first time I wrote Sound of Running Feet. So I'm going to actually write down the whole name. Sound of Running, don't forget capital letters, feet. And then in parentheses, I'm going to put SORF because that lets the reader know that is how I am saying her name. Does that make sense? So you don't want the reader to be going, what is SORF? I don't know who that is. So the first time that you introduce the characters, make sure that you write their full name. Okay. So I'm going to change that on here. Chief Joseph. So, or CJ. That's how I'm going to talk about him. Okay. Finally, I want you to think of a hook. Maybe you can find a fact. What are some facts that we know about Mimi Poo? Or you can do a question. Let's see. Mimi Poo. Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna Google this about the Mimi Poo. Maybe the Nippers or the Mimi Poo are a tribe from Iowa. Okay. Let's see what else. Oh, there's one of the Nez Perce. That's a fact. The Nez Perce or Nipu are called or mean the people. And man, this is evident because their people are so important to them. Oh, there you go. So there's a fact. What are some other facts? Maybe, have you ever had to take a really long journey? Or is family really important to you? Or how would you protect your family? Okay, so we want a gaucho, we want a hook. So I want you to either put a fact or maybe a question, and it should connect to our essay again. So it should be about the Mimi Poo, or maybe what you're writing about. Again, what lengths would you go to protect your family? Or would you fight somebody to protect your house? Or let's see, my family is super important to me. Okay, or do you like your family? I mean, there's a lot of things. The next person who means people. Let's see.
Is
Or
the one I did was
yeah.
would you go to war for your land or leave it?
Oh, that's a good one. I was gonna say something.
The one that I did was
Yeah. Maybe you could say to the first land, including food, shelter,
You're
food,
really
shelter,
glitchy.
oh, maybe if your topic is something about the land, maybe you could say to the nesters, land was everything. They got food, shelter, home, and they made family in their land, okay? Or something similar. Oh, somebody wrote Chief Joseph,
Can I
or
tell
you
you
could,
what I wrote?
yeah, what'd you get, Riley?
Have you ever left your house behind and moved on?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. Like, what? Why would you have to leave your house? I see Nora wrote, Nimi Poo loved their land because that's where they lived their whole life and because that's where they got their identity. Or maybe you can even talk about the Nimi Poo were a tribe of people that came from the blood or the heart of a monster. So, and for this reason, they're really fierce warriors. So you guys can even think about some of that story.
But it also said, and they have big hearts.
They do have, oh, that would be good too. Because they were born of the blood of the monster, or the heart of the monster, it's often said that the Nimi Poo have big hearts. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't finish, I just want you to work on the introduction today. Okay, so for homework, you need to finish the intro. We're gonna do the other ones later on. We're gonna do this bit by bit because you guys, the more that you have in your outline, the better your essay is going to be, and the less you actually have to do with writing your essay. We're pretty much writing our essay now, but we're breaking it down so it's not as hard. Okay, so for homework, you needed to turn in your vocabulary journal. I'll get sending you the ones from trimester 2, and you need to finish outline or the introduction and read for 30 minutes. Okay. questions? Okay, I will see you on Monday. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye.
You too.